How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TableTakes. My tongue's blue because I ate a Jolly Rancher before the stream. Now I'm deeply regretting it. It's a lovely Friday afternoon, and that means it's time for more hard-hitting, edge-of-your-seat board game news. Ooh, we have all of our lovely hosts to bring this news to you today, but quickly, I want to give a shout out to Panita. Thank you for joining us and helping us with production today. It's super good to have somebody on our side as usual. Filling in for Marcus. Sorry, Marcus, you couldn't be here, but we'll be rooting for you back here on the show. So let's get into the folks here at Table Takes and all of our lovely hosts. I want to know what y'all have been up to. How about you, Bonsai? You still have some baby rearing duties that you've been accomplishing.
Yes, it's like I'm gonna probably have baby duty and rare like kid duties, offspring duties for like the rest of my life, I think. But yeah, no, I basically got back from the doctors, found out my baby is quote unquote chungus, coming in at the 91 percentile. He is 4 months, the size of a 6-month-old, and so we are going to be feeding him solids 2 months early because the doctors are like, hey, he's big enough. He could probably eat some regular food. He's fine. And yeah, it's great. It's great. Also, my little sister just flew back to the family back in Guam. I was so happy to hang out with her and congratulate her for her graduating. Also, I'm happy to introduce her to more board games other than Monopoly. I'm happy that I have now introed that into them. I did for her graduation buy her a Hello Kitty Monopoly set because it's her favorite character, plus her favorite game. But I was like, hey, there's a whole other world than that board game. And so I'm very happy to spread the fandom a little bit more.
Well, speaking of Monopoly, I hope you're ready for some Monopoly news later on this stream. So stay
Oh.
tuned for that, Bonsai. Noir Enigmas here with us once again, as always, gracing
Yes.
us with your presence. I've always had a question for you, Noir. What's it
Yes.
like having your partner working with you on the same stream? I mean, that's got to be a wild trip.
Yeah. Like if I do something wrong, production has a very quick path to let me know. It's just one room away to let me know, hey, fix your mic, Goofy. So
How's your week's been?
my week's been it's been a week, but my computer and me have been fighting. I think it's mad at me because I'm doing a lot of editing these days, and my graphics card is used to like video games, but like now I've got Premiere Pro going like at full tilt, and it's just like, what is this? So it's been giving me pushback, but I know I'm enjoying teaching my computer to do something a little different other than just playing Diablo 4.
Well, maybe you could teach me a couple of tips about computers because I got my new one here and I haven't had it for very long, but I could definitely use a couple of tips. But we gotta move on here. Peter, how has your week been?
Oh, thank you, JVN. It's been great. I've been a lot of Gen Con TV activities. This week on Wednesday night, I was DM Sarah Moore was in town and she ran karaoke game of the crown and I got to play a god. That was a lot of fun. And I've been working on my new show, Peter versus the Machine, which is Monday mornings, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And I've been playing Civilization now. I started doing that. And I'm here with all of you. And I'm going to a Mariners game tonight, which is
Hey.
yeah. How about you, JVN?
I've been up to my usual shenanigans, plugging it away at work, hard at work, bringing you some board game news. And actually, today I wanted to show you a new game that I brought for you all to see. It's called You Lying Sack, made by the same folks who made Exploding Kittens. It's a really fun, really simple game to play. All you got to do is reach into a sack and either lie by pulling out the good thing or tell the truth by pulling up some bad things and then hold them out to everybody and say, hey, would you like some bad things? I have bad things in my hand. And if they take them, they get bad things. But if they think you're lying and they take them, they get the good thing, and then they get to give you bad things. And it's just a bunch of lying to each other. Everybody gets to lie to each other the whole time. It's super fun. Highly recommend it. It's literally a game I was able to play in like the span of 5 minutes with just 2 players. So it's a really fun little filler game if you're looking for something to round out your board game collection. All right, folks, we have so much news to get through today. We're going to jump into the headlines here really quickly. After our normal programming today, we have a very special interview, yet another in the line of Diana Jones Emerging Designers. We have Anthony Joyce-Rivera, a winner of the Diana Jones Emerging Designer Program. We are very excited to have this Hispanic 2-time Emmy nominated game designer with us to tell us all about their work and how they got involved in the industry and where they're headed. But you're going to have to stick around to hear more about that. Speaking of things that are exciting about Gen Con TV related news, Bonsai, would you like to take us into our next headline?
Yes, it's studio night this Saturday night. Hey! If you guys didn't know, a special guest coming back from the Crown graced us with her presence this Saturday, June 17th. Dip into the stream, start around 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific time to see some extra sweetness from the gods of honey modeled by the amazing, joyful Sarah's Moore. Also combine, Sarah Moore along with Tanel. Tanel, of course, the awesome artist that we have for a lot of the stuff and graphics, boom, that we have here on Gen Con TV and at Chaldea Studio. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, check the magic of not just Sarah's beautiful posing and being a model, but Tanel's artistry. Wait, what's the word? Artistry. Beautiful artistry. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Artistry, all in one place. This is your chance to see them together in one place, making art live on Gen Con TV. It's gonna be exciting.
I do have a question. We skip past before I can ask you, Peter. What are you the god of exactly?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the god of conspicuousness.
How conspicuous?
Love it.
How conspicuous. Were your acolytes the Inquisition?
No one expects Hispanic.
Yeah, but you can also do in the crown. You can whatever you're the god of, you can dial it down to 0 to effectively do the opposite. So it's also good for sneaking around to be inconspicuous. I have 0 conspicuousness, right?
Yeah,
But my character is an artist, so he weaves conspicuousness into his art.
Well, you know who wishes they could be inconspicuous?
Uh-oh. Look at this segue.
Look, I'll tell you who.
Go ahead, Peter, tell us.
All right. I have an article brought to us by Chase Carter at Dicebreaker. Thank you, Chase. The ongoing legal sparring between Dungeons & Dragons publisher Wizards of the Coast and the company, popularly referred to as New TSR, NU TSR, were postponed on June 12th, thanks to TSR's recent bankruptcy filing. First reported by Polygon, TSR filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in North Carolina's Eastern Bankruptcy Court on June 8th. A few days later, the court had collected the necessary paperwork from TSR's legal representation to send through the bankruptcy filing, and in doing so, paused all ongoing cases or legal obligations involving the company. In the U.S., Chapter 7 bankruptcy means TSR's assets and property will be liquidated to pay off as much debt as possible. TSR's website remains active, but none of their previous products, games, or merchandise are available for sale. Instead, an ominous "big sale coming soon" text fills the background of an otherwise empty landing page. A judge has ruled that the legal stay on TSR's entrenched battle against Wizards of the Coast, along with any other lawsuits, will remain in effect until March 2024. Longtime readers will remember that saga of New TSR that has unfolded over the last few years, beginning with failed Republican politician Justin LaNasa and the son of D&D co-creator Gary Gygax, meaning the son is Ernie Gygax, creating a new tabletop RPG publishing company under the name TSR, despite the fact that Wizards of the Coast purchased the original TSR in 1997. This new TSR sued Wizards for the rights to sci-fi RPG Star Frontiers, subsequently dropped that suit amid a crowdfunding campaign for their own version, and were then slapped with a countersuit by the Hasbro-owned company, which named New TSR was fraudulently using the classic TSR logo. Perhaps more importantly was the claim that TSR's new version of Star Frontiers contains blatantly racist and transphobic and reprehensible content, according to Wizards of the Coast 2022 injunction that aimed to stop any playtesting, distribution, or design work on Star Frontiers. Lanasa and his version of TSR are in dire, financial straits. If the court documents paint the full picture of the company's asset, it has amassed $621.92 since the beginning in 2023. Level that sum against the full legal liabilities, which include payment owed to Lanasa when he acted as legal counsel for the upstart publisher, currently totaled at $385,000. The stay will only remain in place as long as the bankruptcy proceeds, so there's no telling if this latest chapter in the story between Wizards of the Coast and a revenant from its past will move forward before March 2024.
Well,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you, you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
I just hope they have Norns on their legal team because they have more intelligence, Sorry, that's the only
So
one.
true.
That's the only one.
So true.
Oh no, but
Yeah, well,
this-
it's I think a lot of people are looking at this and going, this this company was very problematic, made a lot of problematic comments, problematic content, and a bizarre, just the idea of starting your company and naming it the company that somebody else bought. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing has had shenanigans written all over it from the beginning. So I don't think many people are surprised that it's come to this.
I do appreciate that breakdown on the type of bankruptcy that they filed. I know there's a few different types. I wasn't sure which one they filed for. So thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad to see that this is all finally over and done with. We had been reporting on this for a while, and it's just been a wild ride. But we finally have like an end to this, and hopefully, it's the end to all of the shenanigans going down with New TSR, whatever they decided to call themselves. Let's move on to something a little bit more bright, a little bit more uplifting and upbeat. Noir, would you like to tell us what our next headline?
Yeah, no, something more bright. So I got some news from the world of darkness. Renegade reveals new Vampire the Masquerade sourcebook. Shout out to ICV2 for the article. Renegade Game Studios revealed Bloodstained Love, a new sourcebook for Vampire the Masquerade RPG, which is going to hit stores Q4 2023. The new sourcebook offers advice to players as to how to build their characters in Romance Chronicles. Storytellers will find tools to build a Romance Chronicle from the group up, as well as an expansion to the core rulebook's Advice for Considerate Play appendix. Bloodstained Love also includes 6 fleshed out storytelling characters and 6 detailed story concepts for romance games. Additionally, there will be merits, flaws, and discipline powers related to romance. The full color hardcover book is for 18 and up and is going to retail for $45. Renegade Game Studios has placed Werewolf of Apocalypse 5e, a core rule book, on pre-order as well. So if you're into the more woofy things, you've got that option. Got a couple thoughts on this new rule book. I hope they tread carefully, put a lot of thought into it. I can see how a misstep could be made in handling something like this. But on the other hand, if they do provide good guidelines for initiating romantic roleplay, I think that this is going to be a book that will be helpful far beyond the world of darkness. I think I think there's a lot of actual plays that inspire people to do romance, like Critical Role. And I think that there hasn't been a lot in the way of guiding people through how to do that responsibly. So this may be a first at that, and I hope they do it successfully. But I'm more curious as to what all of you think.
Well, definitely, I do hope that they're going to implement the safety nets X card system, as a lot of people refer them to, and such. That, like, I also same thing. Now, is there going to be a way to have a vampire werewolf romance? We don't know.
I sure hope so.
So,
That would
because
make
they're
perfect
just saying
sense. I mean,
vampires here. They're we're
What
gonna have the Great Wars again, and then
You
this
know,
is just turning into Twilight.
in the world of darkness, werewolves call vampires leeches. So I don't think
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I put it out there.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next headline. And Peter, why don't you take it away?
All right. Well, I'm getting all the sort of controversial stuff today. I don't mind. Puerto Rico. Yeah, this article is brought to us by Matt Jarvis at Dicebreaker. Puerto Rico 1897 is the decolonized revamp of the contentious classic board game. This will see a re-release later this year following its disastrous original launch. Puerto Rico 1897 was announced last year as an update to Andreas Seyfarth's 2002 board game in which players took the role of colonial governors of the Caribbean island during the 19th century. In the original game, players grow crops on their plantations and invest in new buildings in order to try and amass the most profit. The 2002 game has since seen widespread criticism as the result of its colonialist themes, as well as its exclusion of indigenous inhabitants of the island and ignorance of the role that slavery played on plantations, such as those controlled by the player's characters. In the game, players acquire and assign workers referred to in-game as colonists and represented by brown discs to their building in order to produce money and points. Later editions removed the colonists' arrival by ship and changed the component color to purple. Puerto Rico 1897 explicitly sought to update the game's theme to a later period of time after the island had abolished slavery and claimed back its autonomy from Spanish colonizers, but before the United States subsequently took control of the territory in 1898. Publisher Ravensburger acknowledged the original game's themes of colonialism, confirming that 1897 would be designed in collaboration with a culturally diverse and representative team, including Puerto Rican cultural consultant Jason Perez. Puerto Rico 1897 debuted at German board game convention Essenspiele in October 2022, followed by a retail release in Europe at the end of the year and a US launch in February of this year. The game's release was beset by complaints of missing components, notably 4 fruit tiles and half the coffee tiles needed to play, and production oversights, including rulebook errors and text missing from building tiles that explain their effects. Thank you, Board Game Geek. So, presumably, the re-release later this year will continue to fix the colonization issues from before and fix the production oversights, and thus getting us, hopefully a really good game that's also appropriate.
Thank you for telling us about this news, Peter. I knew that there was a re-release for Puerto Rico, but I had no idea how bad it was. And I knew the reasons why, but I mean, they're going to have a long way to go to get back the trust of their player base, because honestly, it's just been one thing after another. So good luck to you folks out there. Good luck on your re-release. And how about we talk about a game that's had plenty of its own re-releases? Actually, 2 games, in fact. 2 is better than 1, I'd say. We've got Scrabble on the one hand, we've got Monopoly on the other. But what would happen if we combined the 2? You get Scrabnopoly.
Is that even legal, JBN?
Or I guess Monobble. It's
This article is upsetting me so much.
It's It's the Monopoly Scrabble crossover. Finally, the two games people have been clamoring for millennia to combine are finally getting their perfect mashup. It's a crossover episode. So the way Monopoly Scrabble will work is you get your letter tiles and you place the letter tiles on the board like you're playing Scrabble. And then maybe you'll also cover up a space on the Monopoly board, which means you get to buy it. However, the number of pieces you use to make your words is how many spaces your piece on the Monopoly board will move around, which means you might have to pay money to people. And also, in horrifying news, if anybody plays a word that uses a letter that's already covering up one of the Monopoly spaces on the Scrabble board, they steal that property from you, and now it's theirs. Now they own it, and now they can collect all the money from it because that's how Monopoly worked.
I thought this was a joke, but I clicked the link and it's real, and I hate it.
It's a real nightmare, folks. And we're all living in it.
I've got to try it, but I'm going to be so upset the whole time.
This game's got everything. It's got the word games for the folks who want something challenging and competitive. And it's got the wackiness and silliness of a game of Monopoly for the economists out there. So I hope you all are excited because this game is coming out very, very soon to a table near you.
The actual name of it again?
Monopoly Scrabble, I believe.
They just yeah. There's just.
Yeah, you could also call it Monopoly R, Scrabble R. That's how they, the co-publishers at Hasbro and Winning the Moves want you to call it.
I think after seeing this episode, they're going to rename it to Scrabnopoly. I think that's...
Scrabnopoly?
Scrabnopoly?
Yeah.
Scrabnopoly.
Well, if you thought that was an abomination, you haven't heard anything yet.
How dare you?
I love that intro. That's such a great intro.
Noir, why don't you tell us what horrors you brought for our viewing pleasure?
I've come to free you from Scrabnopoly with the power of the Emperor. That's right. Steve Jackson Games will release new Munchkin Warhammer 40K expansion. It's finally time. Steve Jackson is releasing Storming the Warp, a new Munchkin Warhammer 40K expansion set, which will hit retail stores in September 2023. This is a Dungeons expansion that further explores the galaxy of Warhammer 40K. It adds new portal cards to the game, like the Long War, Finish the Crusade, and oh boy, here we go. I got one with a word that's hard to pronounce. Administratium Edict. There it is. The expansion also adds 20 dungeons that visits places like the Holy Terra, Vigilis. The game box comes with 16 cards, 20 dungeon cards, and a rule sheet. The new expansion supports 3 to 6 players, and when combined with the core set, it's ages 14 and up and plays in 1 to 2 hours. And it's going to retail for $11.95. So this is clearly the perfect gift for Javion. I know that we're all excited to, get more blood for the blood god, more skulls for the skull throne. And we get to do it with Munchkin, our favorite thing.
So I gotta admit, when I kind of drifted off there for a second, and I heard you say corset, and I thought, like, what do corsets have to do with this game?
Space Marines famously wear corsets in their giant galaxy-spanning battles for dominance. So honestly, I think that's what you're.
That would be easier for them to put on the power armor. I'll tell you what.
For sure.
Listen, we've all had our phase, right? I had my Munchkin phase. I've had my Warhammer phase. I thought I put all that behind me. But now Steve Jackson has decided to bring it all back, and in fantastic fashion, I might add. So
Steve Jackson will give you no peace.
Okay. Well, at least the price is right. $11.95.
That's perfect.
That's pretty affordable, and I look forward to hearing all about your adventures in Munchkin Warhammer Noir. Speaking of adventures, we've got some Lord of the Rings news that Bonsai's brought for us. Why don't you tell us all about it?
Ah, yes, of course. As you know, the obsession grows ever so more as everyone craves to hold the one ring that rules them all. Just announced, thank you to Jeffrey Dome Sanchez for from ICV2, sorry, words, for announcing that basically a Spanish gaming store named Guillermo de Dragones offers raised doubled the price. Last week it was $1 million. Now it's $2 million they are offering. Not only that, of course, the One Ring, they're also offering a trip to Spain, a hotel to stay with, and you can get a paella. If you guys don't know, paella is delicious. The rice dish with like seafood in it. 1010 would recommend it. But yeah, so this is just, it's the bidding war has started. By the way, if you haven't checked on Amazon, if you try to buy these packets, the One Ring packet, the Lord of the Rings packet, it's already up to about $400 per specialty pack. It is going up and up in price, and it will probably go more in price as more people open and not get the One Ring. It is Charlie and Chocolate Factory in real life.
Y'all
It's
better
amazing.
hope I don't get this card.
But now it's $2 million, Noir. $2 million.
We reported on this last week. It went from 250K to 500.
It's
to
only gonna
1
go
million.
higher. Yeah.
And now it's 2 million.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Magic is
effectively
making
the lottery. It's effectively
Yeah.
become the lottery.
And
I
if
mean,
get
it was already the lottery. Now it's just higher stakes. Now it's the mega millions jackpot.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
yes.
the brain stuff.
for
all the things.
no
I think
pay.
Magic is still just like making they're seeing the need, the feed, and so they're like, hey, with people wanting to do this, let's go ahead and bring back Magic tournaments, like pro Magic tournaments. This is $100,000 prize for Magic the Gathering opening tournament to be held at MagicCon Las Vegas. If you guys haven't heard, Wizard of the Coast announced that at MagicCon Las Vegas, they will be hosting a $100,000 opening Magic the Gathering tournament with limited format competitive events for the convention series. MagicCon Las Vegas will be taking place from September 22nd to the 24th of 2023 at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Nevada. The entry fee per person is about $160 with a cap of $2,000, or not two, sorry, 2,000 person cap. The grand prize winner of the tournament will take home $20K. Second place, of course, taking $10,000. All players earn 36 match points, and the top 8 will get invited to do a pro tour. Pro tour for the Magic tournaments for 2024. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I think 20K can buy you a lot of Lord of the Rings packs.
So, Noir. I just had a realization, like I'm sorry, Bonsai. We're going back to the Lord of the Rings.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but
Okay, I'm glad there's a big tournament in Vegas. Yay, go, yay! But let's go back to the One Ring. As far have you heard any stipulations on the condition the card has to be in? I mean, you might be able to have some. You might be able to have some fun with the card and get the $2 million. Noir.
See, this is why I rock with you. You thinking business-wise. I'm just thinking for the chaos. Let's get it.
That's why we're a good partnership, man.
Oh, man.
I've never been to MagicCon. I was never competitive enough to actually want to subject myself to the stress of playing in a Magic tournament with people who have like crafted all these huge decks or whatever. But I've heard lots of really good things, and I love Las Vegas. I'm sure it's a great time, and good luck to all the folks who will be competing, and good luck to the folks who will be competing in the Gen Con Magic the Gathering tournaments that will be happening later this year as well. We hope to see you there. That's going to have to do it for our headlines today, folks, but that's just going to lead us into everybody's favorite segment. It's the Bundle Boss. Bonsai.
Hey, everybody. Now, guess what? We don't have just one bundles. We got two bundles, like the double glasses that I'm wearing right now. First bundle is from itch.io, Kiwi RPG Week Bundle. This, of course, this bundle is the supporting or the Kimu Wataku o Atiuro. Oh, sorry. I am really bad at. I had it in my head of how I was going to pronounce it. I am very sorry. I am very bad at this. Please do not take offense.
Kimu
I really tried.
Wakatao?
Yeah. Atiuro. Yes. So close enough. We got 20 games by 11 different designers showcasing the range of Kiwi games made in Aurora with supplements of one-shot standalone systems, all come to see the best of New Zealand's native folks. This is, of course, tabletop world is much larger than local hobby shots indicate, but several critical factors keep designers outside of the US and Europeans at edge. Crowdfunding platforms do not accept projects of dozen countries, often in the global south. It's just a lot of problems with shipping, stocking. Even where I'm from Guam, we really only had one gaming store, and that's the only place that you could get games or hang out and do RPG, like basically meet anybody there. So this is why it's so important to promote Kiwi RPG. It's a coalition of designs and artists living all throughout New Zealand. And started the annual celebration of their geographical commerce and locally grown tabletop game central. Basically, it's a $70 value for $25 that you can pay for. That's supporting folks that are just like outside from what normally we here in like the US and the European circuit are usually used to. So if you're wanting to go ahead and look and find out a lot of these like indigenous artists and stuff, I highly recommend getting this bundle. We also have the anti-imperialist bundle coming on. Lucas Rolim is the bundle organizer. This is introducing the anti-imperialist RPG bundle. This unique collection of RPG games is driven by a powerful motivation to combat imperialism. All funds, of course, will be raised, will be donated to the MTST Solidarity Kitchen, located in the regions of this, like in the city that is going down. What exactly is Solidarity Kitchens? They are mostly just places that provide food. They are vibrant spaces of struggle, resistance, support, and culture within marginalized communities they serve. Within these kitchens, collectives, individual legal support offer, basically they help people with legal support, cinema debates and conversations for pregnant women, cultural workshop, courses, tutorial for children, and literacy training for young people and adults. So this bundle itself is a $723 value only for $15. Both of these are awesome bundles, both helping indigenous folks from all around the globe. I highly recommend them, and they're all a bunch of games that kind of you never see coming. And you're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea of the kind of game that would be out. So definitely check these out.
Thank you so much to our bundle boss for bringing these bundles. We love helping good causes, worthy causes. And finally, Peter, would you like to lead us into our final segment? Crowdfunder.
Okay, before our interview, we have one quick crowdfunding court. Boom, boom, boom. Javion, court is in session. You may approach the bench.
I have been waiting weeks to tell you about this Kickstarter. It's the AEG Expansion Extravaganza, and it ends in 2 hours. You get expansions for 4 of the most popular AEG games ever made, 2 of which just so happen to be created by the best game designer I've ever met in real life. That isn't Emma Larkins. Space Base, War Chest, Tiny Towns, and Cubitos. I've already backed it, and you should too, because as I said, you're getting 4 expansions for 4 of the most popular games from AEG, as well as all of the extra expansions and the base games at a discounted price that you won't get anywhere else. Check out the link in chat if you want to hop on this great one-of-a-kind deal.
All right. Excellent submission, Mr. Javion Smith. I turn it back over to you, but you have to switch hats to your host persona from your crowdfunder court applicant persona.
Do your transformation.
Oh, wow, I'm back. Okay, now I'm the host of the show again. And we're going to lead into our interview, our very special interview with a worthy interviewee. So let us now turn it over to Bonsai for our interview transition music.
Now we're transferring to this other scene. We're gonna transfer really, really quick. Thank you, JV, for hosting. Welcome to Table Takes.
Welcome! It's
Hey.
Anthony Joyce-Rivera, everybody.
All right. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you here. You are the Diana Jones Emerging Designer Program winner. How does it feel?
You know, I'm excited. It's I've never been to Gen Con before. It's been like the Mecca that everybody has to like pilgrimage to at some point. And so hearing that I won the award and then being told I'm going to get to go to Gen Con, it was like the perfect mix of everything, right? Like it's just amazing. So I'm really excited. Kind of like
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard good stuff about it. So I'm looking forward to being there and representing just a different take in gaming, bringing a little bit of diversity and how, adventures are written and stuff like that. So I'm really proud and excited and looking forward to being there.
Well, can you tell us what you won this award for? I'm sure there are folks at home who are excited to know.
Yes, so specifically, I've been doing a lot of adventure design, incorporating a lot of my Puerto Rican heritage into adventures. The Adventures of Wonderia is one where I actually have like my grandmother's Puerto Rican recipe in there. So just kind of like finding innovative ways to bring culture into the gaming space, to share it with others out there, to invite them to enjoy these different foods and experiences. And then also like mentoring POC creators. I've been doing that with Big Bad Con. I know, Peter, you've been involved coming out there to support that and just seeking talent across the world in places where marginalized creators haven't had the opportunities to make awesome content and showcase it to the world. And so I've been helping a lot with those efforts to invite people to fly them over to the United States and connect them with industry professionals so that they can make connections and start making games that others can enjoy, love, and share. So a mix of adventure design and helping others out in the industry to promote them and their work.
So, a quick question: when you put pen to paper to work on your first game design, what inspired you to get started? Is this something that you wanted to do? Was there just an idea that you just had to get out? I'm very curious as to origin.
Yeah, this is very funny. So I started wrote my first stuff several years ago when I wanted to buy Dwarven Forge, the like terrain pieces. Mm-hmm. And that's very expensive stuff. And I'm like, well, how do I afford this? And I'm like, there's this place called DM's Guild. I can maybe write something and like make a little money and then like use that money to buy this stuff for D&D. And so I convinced my partner, Jen. I'm like, hey, can I do this? She's like, cool. And I started doing it. I haven't bought really any Dwarven Forge since. Like all my money goes back into like hiring editors and artists, but I love it. Like I was like, oh, this is so fun. So So the eternal desire to get Dwarven Forge, which just slightly out of my grasp, but it turned into it unlocked a great outlet for me, a creative outlet. So here I am, still doing it.
That's hilarious.
Now, I know
quest to get Dwarven Forge, I think, has inspired a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
You'll need to buy 3D printers. Anywho, that's but yeah, no, you mentioned that you put a big emphasis on creating these spaces for POC folks and creators. Like how do you go about organizing these events, especially for like Big Bad Con and maybe like, for other people who might want to be organizers themselves?
Yeah. No, so I was lucky to get introduced to Ajit George, who he was one of the co-leads of the Radiant Citadel book that Wizards put out. And through that process, that was birthed at Big Bad Con back, I think, in 2019. And he's like, hey, do you want to help organize these efforts to just fundraise and give opportunities to marginalized creators and connect them with industry pros? And I said yes. So there's two efforts that I've kind of been involved with. One is like through Big Bad Con and just helping raise awareness to get funds that then go to scholarships that we award, where people can be flown out, they get their hotel paid for and everything. And then I have sat down with others on the team and we connect them with industry professionals. Like we see, hey, this person's an artist and they make this kind of artwork. Oh, and by the way, we have this Wizard of the Coast or MCDM or Ghostfire Gaming, they're looking for an artist. So they're sending a representative. So let's have a meet and greet event where we connect them and we'll tell both of them, like, hey, when you're here, talk to each other and see what happens. Like, let's let the magic fireworks go off. And a lot of like networking in that way, where we're kind of playing matchmaker between individuals to pair up the creator with the person in the industry that's looking to hire somebody. And then the second thing is for like organizing things. I came up through writing for Adventures League, right? And conventions usually have organized play programs. So the second convention I'm now working with is Gamehole Con. And I reached out to Alex Kammer, who's
nice.
He's the head there. And I said, hey, I have these great POC creators that have done adventure design. I've been mentoring them, teaching them how to write and everything. I know you have the Adventures League organized play program there. What do you say, like, we kind of, do this partnership where you hire them and they'll write adventures for you? And he said, yes. So just something like simple like that, going to a convention and getting their organized play program, like that money to go towards someone who would traditionally not be noticed or seen from their pool of, normal attendees or the people that are on their radar, and just giving opportunities and saying, hey, look, you got 10 slots, give me 2 or 3. And I'll show you it's going to pay off. And I help mentor those creators through the adventure design process. And then it's a win-win because the adventure writer gets the mentorship, the experience, the payment, and then the convention gets like a guaranteed awesome adventure. And boom.
Heck
And then
yeah.
the players get to have a great time when they play it. So it's great.
So
Wow.
this
Wow.
is very refreshing to hear, especially in an industry where it's just like there's a lot of worry about people closing the door behind them. I have to ask, is there any particular story of a connection that you may have made that is kind of like the highlight of this is why you do it?
I think, I'm mentoring 3 awesome creators right now. Taylor, she's over in the UK, Taylor Navarro, and Lila and Ethan. So those 3 individuals one of them is a former like Google dev, made a bunch of stuff for Google. One is a project manager for like waste management, and Taylor is got her hands full with her kids. But you know what? These are people that are, Japanese heritage, Puerto Rican heritage, and they're just kind of like, they don't have big social media presence, right? So usually those folks with like not 1 million followers on Twitter get overlooked. And I notice simple things. They're professional, they're communicative, and they're like hungry, right? Like when you have that, you could take that passion and you could help like give them the opportunity to succeed. And that's all it's about. All it takes is like, hey, I can help show you the door, and the success really lies in your hands. I'm here to help you. But if you're hungry and you're going to go out there and be communicating with people that hire you for freelance projects and meeting deadlines, like I'm going to back you up. And that to me has been really cool because I've been doing that with them for about a year now. And now they've gotten like multiple contracts with Ghostfire Gaming, the Adventures League. Some of them are, talking to other bigger now publishers, or there's some deals in the works. And it's like, I'm a father of 3 children. So, there's this other side of me that's very like, I want to see the next generation come up behind me and be even more successful than I am. And like, that is to me what I love to do.
It's interesting that you point that out. I wanted to say, when you're talking about mentorship, when you're talking about these programs that you've helped sort of develop into existence, for me personally, I just want to say thank you, just because a lot of that stuff is like the reason I'm even here on this show, or even in the board game industry to begin with.
Yeah.
But along those same lines, where do you think you're going to go in the future? Now that you've won this award and a lot more attention is being brought to diversity POC communities and in the gaming community, what kind of things do you want to change?
I want to keep being like an ambassador to show why introducing more diverse creators, not only at the creative level, but at the leadership level, is important. And it's mutually beneficial. You always hear a lot about the corporations and the bottom line and dollar for dollar, right? Well, guess what? We're a globalized economy now. Tabletop is now a globalized hobby. There are folks around the world in different cultures, ethnicities, demographics. And to me, it makes both like ethical sense, right? Moral sense and commercial sense to like highlight that diversity of thought, inject it into the culture of tabletop gaming, and to make adventures that anyone around the world could pick up an adventure. And in some aspect of it, they see themselves like a reflection of their culture and who they are. And you get that by having diverse teams, right? And breaking like groupthink mentality. And so I think the next step for me is just to show people like, hey, look, POC creators, like we can be great leaders too, and give us a chance to have leadership roles to then continue to build upon the success we've already had and like prove to everybody why this is the way it should be, that how it's better for everyone involved.
So I have a question for you, Anthony. Going into a completely different direction, it says in your bio that you're an active duty U.S. Army strategist.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I was raised, my dad's in the military, so I got a little bit of that in my blood.
Yeah. So I got, I graduated college and I joined the Army back in 2008, right? So, early mid Iraq War, I guess, era. And I was like, I'm going to do 3 years and then get out and then do other stuff. And I joined and here I am still. So I think from that, what I will say is like from the military, what I found is as an officer, I was able to make people's lives better. Like the Army, sometimes you see it on TV and there's a lot of, social media. It looks like there are just a lot of crappy things that can happen in the military. And I'm like, you know what? As an officer, I can, for my soldiers, make them come to work happy and like take care of them and their families. I'll give you a few examples. Like when Destiny 2 came out, right? I was a company commander and I told my whole unit, hey, Destiny 2 came out. Everybody go home, like have a good day and just go play and have fun. And they're like, what, sir? What? I'm like, you know what? Because I need people to know that like we care about them. I want them to be like energized, feel appreciated. These are hardworking young Americans, right? That are like busting their butt. And we don't have to look at the military and be all like hard asses about it, right? Like we're human beings, we're people. Let's have empathy. And I think, and also through that process, that's where I was introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. One of my soldiers, he's like, hey, sir, when we got deployed is the second time in 2015, he's like, why don't we play D&D? And I'm like, what's that? I kind of heard about it growing up. He's like, well, I'll show you. So my soldiers like introduced me to D&D and I was their company commander. And my soldier, who was like a specialist, a lot lower in rank, he was my dungeon master and they loved it. And I loved it too. And here I am. And that's because connecting with people, regardless of like rank or social hierarchies, just being human. And so I think that process was good. It helped me learn how to mentor folks because I did a lot of that in the military. And then what I love about tabletop, right, is I'm coming from this really niche military where we're isolated. We're like on military bases and everybody thinks the same. And then my experience with tabletop and Twitter and stuff like blew open the door to like who I'm exposed to, people of all types. And then it made me a better person in the military because when we had the transition to allow transgender service members to serve openly, I was an advocate because now I've worked with them. They've been on my teams as writers, peers, collaborators, editors, artists. And in the military now, I'm like, hey, I was pushing for it when it was like at the cusp, and I'm telling my fellow soldiers, like, no, I work with transgender individuals that are awesome. And like now you can serve in the military openly, LGBT friendly, trans friendly, and we have a better military for it. And I appreciate the tabletop helping me have that perspective and then like bring that to here in the military to help make it a more progressive institution.
Thank you.
All
That's
right.
great.
I think we got time for one more question.
I'll take a swing.
Can I add?
Oh,
no, you
go
ahead.
for it.
No. I do. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, in what ways has your military experience informed your experience in the TTRPG community in terms of game design and connecting POCs with opportunities?
It's shown me organizational skills and leadership, right? I think those two aspects have helped me to build teams, and through like the military discipline, if you want to look at it that way, of just getting things done, meeting those things, because that's a lot of the success in tabletop is very simple. It is, can you deliver on spec and on time? And if there's something that's wrong, like you're a life crisis, are you able to communicate that so that timelines can be adjusted, right? Like if you do those three basic things, you're successful. And so that's where I think I've been able to help show others that, like, you don't need to be the best writer in the world. You don't have to be the most creative or innovative. You just have to write, get it delivered, and then make a good product and work well in a team. And boom, success. So I think that's all from military, just getting things done, you know?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on our show with us. Thank you so much for coming over and doing this interview. Is there anything you want to plug real fast for the folks at home? Is there anything you want them to know about?
I'm working on a few things. I got Flea Mortals, some stuff coming out from MCDM on that. And then I've been working on Critical Role's Candela Obscura. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming out on that. And then there's also a big unnamed project I can't announce yet, but it's coming out soon next year. And I hope to see people at Gen Con, right? Like, if you see me there, hit me up. So
definitely.
We'll all be there. And I'll be at the Diana Jones Award party. So I'll see you there.
Awesome. All right, Peter. I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to
Thank
it.
you all for having me here. It's great talking.
Yeah, please stick around for just a bit with us, Anthony, because we have our outro to do. For the folks at home, thank you for joining us. We've had a blast. Stick around. We have plenty more programming for the rest of the day. Coming up right after this is the exciting conclusion to the first mystery of our Monster of the Week campaign. I'm super excited to run this exciting episode. We're going to have Anita, Bonsai, and Noir Enigma trying to defeat the phenomena that is the strange weather tower over the town of Fort Kira. So stick around for that, coming at 3:30 p.m. All of our times are PST. Right after that, at 5 p.m. PST, we have more joyful gaming around Sarah's table, and you can join them as they play Murderous Ghosts, which sounds horrifying and terrifying and very, very gory, but I'm sure Sarah will bring much her trademark joy to that tabletop RPG. We're excited to see more. And tomorrow, Tanel Lovett will be returning with model Sarah Moore in a brand new studio night. I can't wait to see what beautiful art they create together. Two beautiful people in the same room. What could go wrong? For our streaming schedule, on Mondays, we have Peter versus the Machine playing Civilization 6. Much more of Peter versus the animatronic overlords he's seeking to overthrow. At 4 p.m. PST, we've got board games with the Brothers Murph. And right after that at 6 p.m., Dress to Quest. Big day on Monday, as usual. On Wednesdays, we have Actoroki. And this week is a very special episode where Mike Boozer will be continuing to DM for Chaldea, which I believe they're playing The Crown. Isn't that right, Peter?
The Crown was last week. This week, we're back playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Back to playing Dungeons and Dragons. That's why it's DM, not GM. See, because DM is for D&D.
I'm old school. I just call every game master a DM now.
On Thursdays at 10 a.m., we've got Blood on the Clock Tower. And at 4 p.m., we've got Roll with Rem Alternus. But then you can join us back here because every Friday at 2 p.m. PST, we've got much more tabletop board gaming news here for the best 4 days in gaming all year long. Thank you to all of our lovely viewers. Thank you to our lovely hosts. And thank you very much, Anita, for filling in for Marcus today. We'll see you in just a bit for our episode of Monster of the Week. Oh, and don't forget, if you missed any of our programming here on Gen Con TV, you can always check out the VODs here or on Twitch, here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. Or you can just follow us here on Gen Con TV. That way you never miss an episode. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. We'll see you in just a bit. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Davion. Thanks, Anthony.